Trump just went scorched earth on Jerome Powell for the more than $2.5 billion being spent to renovate the Fed headquarters. You're not going to believe the face Powell makes when he's handed the receipts. We'll cover that in a second. Also, the president announces multiple trade deals in one day that's expected to bring in trillions of dollars. Real quick, if you get value from these updates, make sure to share this with all of your friends and become part of the community by subscribing to the Civic Trigger.
Sitting on a coveted property alongside Washington's National Mall, two stately marble-facaded buildings, now ringed by construction fencing, covered in scaffolding, so-called blue-skin waterproof coverings on the windows. The two buildings, headquarters of the Federal Reserve, and their costly renovation are President Trump's latest weapon in his war against Fed Chairman Jerome Powell.
I mean, it's possible there's fraud involved with the $2.7 billion renovation. This is a renovation.
The president indicating that while it's unlikely he'll fire Powell, it could still happen if fraud is involved in the $2.5 billion renovation, a project that's been hammered on by the president and his allies for weeks.
The one thing I didn't see him as a guy that needed a palace to live in. I think when you spend $2.5 billion on really a renovation, I think it's pretty disgraceful.
Of course, Powell doesn't live in the building, but that hasn't stopped Trump from tying him to the renovation, the cost of which has shot up in recent years, from $1.9 billion to $2.5 billion. The Fed says the buildings had to be upgraded because their electrical grids, plumbing, HVAC, and fire detection systems were antiquated. The buildings were constructed almost 100 years ago. There have been claims that the renovation would include expenditures for lavish items like rooftop gardens, water features, and VIP elevators.
It sends the wrong message to spend public money on luxury upgrades that feel more like they belong in the Palace of Versailles than a public institution.
And things got tense between the president and the Fed chair as they went around these renovations, with President Trump literally handing Powell the paper that shows how much they've spent.
It's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
in charge of the committee.
Indeed, one of the reasons why we wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
Our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger.
I want to clarify what Powell is trying to say here. He says that there was a third building that had already been constructed 5 years ago, meaning that it's not part of the $2.5 billion that they're using for this renovation. However, that building is still part of the entire plan, which makes the cost part of this entire renovation. I'm not sure what Powell is trying to do here, but I guess he got caught off guard with the president bringing receipts on live TV. Now you might think that $3.1 billion is justifiable since this is a building that's been around for a century, but here's some context. This renovation costs more than twice what was spent on building the Burj Khalifa. The tallest building in the world cost $1.5 billion to build. But let's say that the cost is down to $2.5 billion. That's still a lot of money. It's also questionable as to why this renovation is installing blast-proof windows on a federal building, because I have no recollection of the Federal Reserve ever being attacked by explosions. Speaking of money, I want to pivot here to President Trump as he continues to get deals done with leaders from across the globe, ensuring trillions of dollars of investments to pour into the United States.
And has agreed for the first time ever to open up its country to trade. We also made a deal yesterday with the Philippines and Indonesia, which in both cases will be opening up their country. We got a lot of deals cooking, but America is taking in hundreds of billions of dollars like it never has before.
And the president's restructuring trade in America like he's talked about really since he became a public figure. President Trump brokering 3 major trade deals in just a day, vowing America will no longer be ripped off.
Is this what you voted for? Let me know down in the comments. Before I go, please make sure to subscribe and help this small channel grow. We've got a long road ahead of us, and I hope that many of you can join me in this journey. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.